Welcome to episode 3 of Who the Heck Did I Marry? So, as of the last episode, we were talking about how I was on my first date with Ken. We had gone to Payway for dinner. We were sitting, eating, chatting, getting to know each other, and he had decided to ask me his 20 questions that he liked to send girls when he was meeting them on dating sites to kind of get to know them. The questions started real light, and then they got a bit more intense about their, let's just say, the personal nature of the questions. And he had asked me about what age I was when I lost my virginity, and I had told him that I would answer that question later. He pressed me a little bit. He's like, you don't get to skip questions. Like, we agreed that we were going to answer these. And I just kind of said, hey, there's a little bit of a story to it. So when things are more comfortable. I mean, conversation is flowing well so far. Everything is going great. I had just been on this awkward first date, the blind date the day before, and this is nothing like that. Everything was going great. I was just like, I'd like to wait a little bit before, I just answer that question. As a side note, choosing to save myself till marriage, obviously in today's culture, at times is a little bit hard because there are eventually certain expectations that come up in relationships, and there is extreme pressure for the nature of relationships to lean more towards the intimacy side of things. And I'm sure it's even harder in today's dating world. I couldn't imagine. But me being the age that I was and saving myself till marriage, it was something that you often didn't like blurt out on a first date or just publicize on your dating profile because most likely people are not going to give you a chance because they know that there is no chance anytime soon that's probably going to happen. So I at least wanted to enjoy a date or two before I scared him away. So anyways, we leave Payway and we head off to I don't remember. I think it was a Native. It was either maybe it was a different Vine location. But anyways, we went to the next sports bar type place where we were meeting our karaoke friend to do karaoke. And we get there and we sit down at a, kind of a front table so we can support our friend. We order some drinks and he continues questions. And there's a couple others of a sexual nature that I kind of was avoiding because if I can't answer the what age were you, it's pretty hard to answer where was the craziest place you've ever done it. So I'm kind of blowing off these questions or brushing off these questions, and our karaoke friend shows up and he's already all set up. So he comes and he starts chatting with us a little bit, which takes the pressure off and kind of changes the subject. And he then starts karaoke. So we've put in songs for karaoke. We're just waiting for our turns. And it's now very loud because karaoke is going on. And so Ken leans over to me, and kind of, pulls me in by the shoulder. And he says, will you tell me now why you won't answer what age you were? And I was like, can we not do this at karaoke? I'll tell you in the car on the way home. Like, can I just tell you in the car on the way home? Okay. And he kind of pulls back, and then a minute later he leans back and he says, nothing bad happened, did it? What, did something bad happen? And I was like, no, it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. You sure? Nobody hurt you, did they? Did somebody hurt you? No. It's not. It's not that. Everything's fine. It's all okay. All right. Are you a virgin? Yep. That's it. Bingo. You got it. That's me. And he's like, why didn't you just say that? Well, it can be awkward. It tells you exactly what will and will not be happening tonight. And it's something that I just kind of like to discuss in the appropriate setting. He's like, okay. And so we just go on with the evening. So everything else was fine. at one point in the night, he leans over and kisses me. Wow, okay. So after what he heard, and now he's kissing me, okay. So the night is over and we walk out and he's driving me home, and he decides to bring up the topic again. So he said, so you haven't? No, I have not. Why? And I just said, when I was a young teenager, I was very close to a cousin of mine. We're still very close. You grow up and she lives in a different state, so we don't see each other as often as we'd like to. But anyways, we were very close at the time, and she had been through something at her church where they had made the decision to wait until marriage. And I had spent the summer with her at her house, and she felt it important to talk about it. And, we're girls and we talk about those things. And she had a boyfriend at the time, and she let me know that she had decided that she was going to wait. And I, obviously, like I said in one of my first videos, my background history or whatever, but I was a church girl. I went to church, and obviously I had heard stuff about it and I had thought about it, and I was a little younger than her. And I said, yeah, I'm going to wait too. And so we had kind of made the decision together that we were just going to wait. And knowing me, that I can be a very emotional person, that I wear my heart on my sleeve, that I fall very quickly, even for people that are not interested. I had plenty of that struggle in high school and college where, I'd gotten to know somebody, we had become friends, and I had learned so much about them that I really cared deeply for them and really wanted to date them, but they didn't feel the same. And that was hard. And I knew for me personally, if I would have put myself out there in that way, I was going to get hurt very quickly. So I had just decided to continue to maintain that until marriage. That was my decision. So anyways, I explained all that to him, and that was me, and that was where I was coming from. And I said, I understand if you have a problem with that, and if this doesn't go any further than that, because that's not happening anytime soon. And he said, no, he says, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't scare me. And then he starts to tell me that he was raised in the church. He was, oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you guys about when he came to pick me up. I told you all about getting in his truck, but when he came to pick me up, I invited him in my house. I was pretty excited to invite him into my house. I can't believe I didn't tell you guys this at the beginning. I was so excited to invite him into my house because, I just moved into this brand new house, and I had a piano. When I was a kid, I started playing piano. My dad got me a piano, and I just didn't take to it like I did later on the flute and the piccolo and other instruments that I played. But when I moved, my parents didn't want the piano in their house anymore, so I was like, we'll take it to our house, that's fine. So I had a piano in my house. So when he came to pick me up, I was showing him around the house because I was very excited to show off my new home, and he sees the piano and he says, do you play? And I said, no, I don't. I dabbled when I was a kid, but it never went much past that. Why, do you? And he said, every day since I was 6. Really? I said, do you know The Entertainer? Because that is my favorite piano song. And he sits down and just, by memory, plays The Entertainer, goes straight into Maple Leaf Rag. I'm sitting here with my jaw on the floor going, who is this guy who just asked me out on a date, who plays piano? I'm watching him play, and in my head I'm thinking, I'm going to marry this guy. Fast forward, we go to dinner. Awkward talks about questions. Go to karaoke, awkward questions. Now he's driving me home, okay? So we're talking about it more, and he says, let me tell you something private about myself, so we're kind of on equal footing. And I was like, okay.